Hey everyone, welcome to Dave's Bonsai. On today's episode, we're going to tackle this azalea. The sun is now off, getting closer into the west. We're about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We're close to 50 degrees, first weekend in March. Life is great. To be able to work on trees outside with air temperatures close to 50. The soil here is probably at about 45 or so because the cold frame has been hovering around 40 to 45 for the last several days. We've had wonderful temps. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to repot this azalea. Now, it was repotted 2 years ago, and that year that it was repotted, or was it early just this past summer, this tree that was about this tall was yanked by a football. But we just let it grow. We let it come back, and the football chop right now from your angle can't be seen. But we're gonna go ahead and take it out of the pot and see where we're at with this guy. I know it's loose in here. It's too big of a pot probably for this plant. It is wired down slightly, which is good because when the football hit it, it didn't completely destroy. But we do have a little bit of snip in here to get rid of this wire here and get it out of the tree. Ooh, I might have 2 wires in this little guy. Who would have thunk? Yeah, I have 2. Get this second one out of here. Here we go. So that pot was a little big for this little guy. Look at this little guy. But now it's suffered some damage. When it was knocked off with the football, one of the reasons why we wire our bonsai pots into our trees, into our pots, is in case the wind knocks them down and they have some damage with the branches. That's always a bummer. But if the tree wobbles into the pot, and if it wobbles too much and gets some air pockets down below, well, then it doesn't have a good balance of that oxygen in the water, so it's not going to grow as well. So this doesn't have a ton of new roots, so maybe it was only transplanted last year, or it really was struggling to do well. So we're going to just go ahead and put this in a new pot the way it is. We're not really going to do too much trimming on this guy. One of the things I want to do on it, though, if I can, is there are just some roots that are kind of growing all wonky and weird. I got a branch right here, another one right there, and another one right there. These 2 are looking kind of white and crusty. It almost looks like they have calcium deposits on there. There's this curly root growing around it in a really weird way. So that might be the life of this tree right now, though I don't want to get rid of too much. So we're just going to pluck away a little more of this soil and see what I can see here. So there's roots here, it's just not very many. And I don't want to take this apart too bad because I want this to recover. This is the first time I've worked on it since the football incident. And the football incident just basically broke the branch. And again, the pot was probably knocked down. The boys kind of tried to not let me notice at first, but then when I noticed, they confessed. So all is good. They know now to come to me as soon as they hit one of my trees, so we can fix it. So this has one of those root structures where we got these roots high growing again here. A rock could go underneath there. Got a couple roots just growing up here that are not attached to anything. Yeah, this will be a tricky one. We'll have to take good care of this here. We'll keep it in the cold frame here until the temps are doing good things. And we'll see if this thing can be revived. You're never done with a bonsai, people always say. And I have put a lot of bonsai trees that I thought were dead in the garage, and then only to find out a couple weeks later, 2-3 weeks later, after not watering it and just let it sit in the garage in the dark, all of a sudden new branches were growing. Absolutely crazy. So you just never know. So we're going to let this thing continue. Now it does have this one weird root going right here. It grows out towards you and then over this way. It's right here. Kind of grows over. I'm actually going to cut that one off. I don't think it has a lot of extra growth underneath it, but I'm going to go ahead and cut that off right there at the base. Let's see how much roots I'm taking off. Just a thick clump, nothing too major. Clean it up just a little bit, and there we go. The last thing I want to clean up is right here. I got this root out here, I got this root here, and there's a root underneath. Now the roots on top have this white substance on them, so they don't look as healthy. I'm going to go ahead and cut this top one off. And see, it wasn't even attached to a lot of fine roots. It was just getting a little bit old and decrepit. It's giving my root structure down here a little bit of character, but it didn't look good. So I'll clean this up. Hopefully this will heal up over some time. Now on the one below it got chopped. So we're taking the whole thing off right now. So I'll show it to you in a sec here. There's actually a lava rock that was nestled in there too. So there we go. Root, this one was gone. There was two there, but one had nothing on it, and the other one just got lost in the work. There we go. So maybe some more roots will grow straight down from that area. So I've got one down here, one over here, and I've got one that comes out and splits here and here. There's some growing straight up. It'll take down, but then that's it. I do not want to do anything else with that. I want to make sure that this is going to survive in a new pot. I'm going to put it in a little bit smaller pot because that was just too big. So I can sift this soil because it's less than 2 years old. I'll sift this soil and recycle that. Got my layer of coarse bonsai soil. And this is obviously a tree that's going to lean that way. We're going to put it around something like that. Give me my mound. And I do have that root that has that hole in the back. So we're going to tuck this wire underneath so we don't disturb that root. Looks like I can maybe go underneath another root here if I'm careful. Yeah. So I'm going under two roots so I can attach to this wire over here. We'll take off the extras. And then we'll lift up and twist. Lift up and twist. Lift up and twist. Nice and secure there. Bonsai soil in there ready to go. Not a lot of roots on this guy. Really tight, compact. I saw enough viable roots in there that I think we'll see if we can save this guy from the football attack. from early last year or the fall of the year before. Getting some of that soil down in there. All right, we have a little bit of this root coming up here. Right here, it's exposed. Again, that could become a root over rock feature down the road. We'll see. I'm not too concerned with direction on this guy, except for the fact that I'm going to go ahead get rid of those two up front. This right here is growing where this football damage happened. Right here, and see there's still a branch growing from that death right there, so I'm just going to leave that grow. There'll be a story to this tree as it continues to heal. I got a double branch growing right here. I don't need that. Got some young stuff trying to grow right there. That's awesome. And that's all I really want to do. I just want to make sure that this stays in good health, comes out of dormancy, and has some more growth. So we'll give it some water and we're going to put it right back in the cold frame. One of those super easy fixes, but it's got to be done. This one was struggling last year and I knew it was. I wanted to see what the roots were like, so I went ahead and opened her up. And now we're in a place where we know what it looks like. We're going to try to take care of this thing in a good way over this spring. And there we have a quick little repot of a little azalea that has really beautiful red flowers on this one. So I hope this one continues to do well. The little football damage here will be a scar for a long time. It'll be part of the story of this tree. And who knows? You just never know what's going to happen with a tree. So there you have it. And maybe that's the front. We'll do that for right now. Hey, let's check out a forest from last year. It's the Minnesota planted forest. It's now up on my bench. Let's go take a close look at it and see how it survived the winter. We're on the edge of the garden where the Minnesota hardy trees have been, and this guy was up on some wood, so the layer of ice on the ground is lower than the wood it was on now, so it's already popped to life. And it was loose, free for me to go. So super excited about the forest this year to see how it thickens up. These trees really beefed up this past year. Had a really strong damage to this maple, but the thickness of the trunk in the last year has really been really nice. This also is a poplar tree that was chopped way down here. Right there is the chop. And look at how nicely that movement right there to grow this. And it's the tallest tree in the forest right now. We can cut this thing back here again and get some more movement and hopefully get some more growth. So we'll see where I'll cut him in a little bit. This right here is the other poplar. Although I can't remember if this is a poplar and this is a poplar, or if this was the, I believe I have a cottonwood tree. These were gathered at a parking lot at work. This one right here. And it has this really long, gnarly root that goes around here and wraps around. And these are all suckers. So I'm gonna have a little mini forest pretty soon. I'll probably take this out and put it as a clump style or do something with it different later. But this was the original tree. It died off for some reason. And this was the first sucker right here. This sucker is only 2 years old and it's already bigger, about as big as a pencil. And it's got all kinds of buds up here, all kinds of buds around the tree. And if I cut this thing, chop it down too, it's just gonna do some fun things this year. So all these suckers are wonderful. It's almost like a birch tree with all the suckers I get on my birch tree clump. So I didn't know that about this. So I think that's the cottonwood. I don't know that the, well, the poplars do that too, I believe, up at the cabin. And so we're gonna see this one's feeling super strong. And then these guys in the back, these curly ones, I noticed I got some critter chew back here. We'll see if this one survives, but these are a bunch of ashes that I found under the deck a couple years ago. We have an ash tree still in our yard. It's a white ash, I believe. And these trunks were just all crazy because it was underneath the deck. It was curling around, searching for light. And so all of these have movement. Really interesting. And they have a pretty tough leaf structure, though, for bonsai. They have one of those structures where you have 5 to 7 leaves per like new leaf cluster. There's like 5. It's not just a leaf here and a leaf there and it grows into a branch. There's the first leaf, I forget the terminology of that, where it comes out from the tree trunk or the branch. It splits off into like 5 little leaves. And so it's hard to get some really exact ramification, at least early on, but these now are completely bare, and you can see there's movement in the trees. This one right here just comes up and goes up and around, and now it's curved. So this is all natural curve. It's been pretty fun. So we'll monitor these this year. And all of these maples right here, boom, boom, and boom. They got 3 different sizes. This one's up in the front. These are all maples that are, I believe, kind of a red maple, that are just from seedlings from the yard, from my pond, from the creek in my pond, from upper pond to lower pond. These were a couple of them were in the gutter a couple of years ago I grabbed from. This is just a year old right now. Last year was the first year of growth, and it's got this weird curve too, so it's got some natural move to it, which is kind of interesting. This one's pretty stick straight. This one was chopped way down here because of a critter, I believe, so it's only about an inch off the ground, but it splits up here. There's 2 growths down here, there's 2 buds down here, and even 2 buds down here, so I'll probably chop this one here. I'll probably chop this down here. Again, I'll chop some of these, and then we'll get some great growth. And this maple is the thickest. There's another maple over here, and here's another. Yeah, all these suckers from right here. So yeah, that's the Minnesota forest. So I got 4 different tree varieties in here. This will thicken up and be super thick this summer, so I'm super excited to see. The moss is already green and loving this sun right now. I'm gonna have to make sure though I keep this watered. So again, when you are doing the whole bonsai shuffle, inside a cold frame, outside a cold frame, up from the ground now, this is a very thin pot. This is my former wall clock that I turned into a bonsai pot, and it's very, very shallow. So this will dry out within a day, 2 days tops. Even with these cooler temps in the 40s still. I got the sun coming right down, beating down on my face. Feels glorious, by the way. But this is gonna dry out super fast. So I'll be throwing some snow. There's still snow in the yard. I'll be throwing snow on here and making sure this thing stays hydrated so it can start perking up for the summer. And it's been in the garden, so it's not getting any different sun than before. So we're good to go. These are from the cabin. I believe they're a white spruce. I don't think they're a black spruce. I believe it's a white spruce. And they're just seedlings from the cabin. So I brought them into home. I put them in this long pot, and they're all looking super lovely, like they just totally loved summer. And this will also dry out fairly fast, so I'll have to make sure I put snow on this one for the next couple of weeks, or maybe a week, because the snow will be gone. And then my final one to show you here, I got a little damage. This is not a pot I should have kept outside in Minnesota winter, and I knew better, even though it opens up really wide at the top. It opens up really wide at the top. It's not a pot I cared that much about, but what's in here is my Marquette grape. The Marquette grape. So I have a Marquette grape plant that we've been trying to grow grapes for wine for the last 5 years. After the first year, a rabbit cut it all the way back. We lost a whole year's worth of fruit. The next year we got grapes back, and then we harvested some grapes, and we made 1 bottle of wine with it. We still haven't tried it yet. This is a cutting from, I think it's maybe 2 years ago now. I think the fall of 19. So it grew all in 20 and survived the winter here except for this crack. But we're gonna put this into a different pot, of course, not this ceramic, but it's alive and it's got this nice little curve to it. And the interesting thing about these grapevines is they look so dead every year. And the one over there that I'm growing the grapes on looks dead too, but there's a lot of roots in here. So when it's cracked open, I'm just glad to see all these roots. So when I repot this in a few days, I'm gonna see lots of roots, I think, and we're gonna be able to make sure that this thing does good stuff. So it looks dead as a doornail, and they always do, super dry foliage. And I know that, this will just break right off. Yeah, but this is alive, and it's gonna grow new growth. So I'm looking forward to year 2, the second full year of the Marquette grape bonsai that has this funky shape. But you know what? Who knows what shape it'll have at the end of this year, because I don't know what's going to come back and what's going to just die off. So a couple of updates. The Minnesota forest looking nice. Cleaned it up a little bit. There's a lot of needles in here still. We'll take care of this, keep a close eye. And the white spruce. And we have this Marquette grape right here. So fun stuff in the springtime. Things are waking up. What an absolutely fantastic weekend. another look at the azalea, and the football azalea. There it is, the football azalea. We'll put it back in the cold frame in hopes that we have a nice recovery with a nice repot. The roots are tucked in there nice. We got it newly watered. We're going to put this back in the cold frame so it's ready to heal for a while before spring actually arrives. The other thing I need to do is to water the Cotonie asters. So I've been filming a couple episodes today and doing a couple of things with repots, and one of the things I noticed when I repotted the Cotonie aster in the last episode, which was for me only about a couple of hours ago, but the Cotonie aster was a little dry on top. So I'm going to make sure all the trees are watered in the cold frame, and then I'm going to move on to whatever else I have energy for the next show, the next edit, to the next. I might just sit in the sun for a while here because this is just feeling absolutely gorgeous. So that does it for another episode. Click like if you can, subscribe if you haven't. Thanks so much for joining me. Take care of yourself, take care of your bonsai, everybody, and we'll catch you on the next show. All right.